Continuing our countdown to kickoff coverage, we head out to Indianapolis with Phil B. Wilson of the Indianapolis Star. A lot of Colts questions coming in, mainly with some guy named Andrew Luck. What can you tell us about him? Has he taken over the locker room? Give me the whole 9 yards on Andrew Luck so far.
Well, we're still holding a vigil here, and we want the Colts to trade with Baltimore to bring Curtis Painter back. To be honest, no, I'm just kidding. Andrew Luck. We thought he was good before he got here. I know I watched him 7 times in college, and he's better than any of us thought. And I don't mean to overstate or, get swept away by, a couple preseason games, but we've seen it in practice. We've seen it in games already. He's well beyond where any rookie quarterback should be. He's already better than probably half the guys in this league, if not more than that. He's that polished. He's that smart. And tell you what, I'm real excited to see what happens when he, learns and grows and from game action. I mean, preseason is not the same as live bullets in the regular season, and he's gonna get better. So we're extremely excited about him. It's just a question of how much they can surround him with to be competitive, and it's going to take maybe a year before these guys can take a run here at some people, but they should win their fair share of games this year, and like I said, I think the town is definitely buzzing over this guy. After losing Peyton Manning, some people wrote me or tweeted me or sent me emails and said, the Colts are dead forever, and they're dead to me, and I don't care anymore, and no more football. And now some are coming back and saying, this Luck guy, he's not bad. Yeah, he's not.
Well, let me ask you this. I was going to ask you about Peyton Manning in just a moment. What would you deem a successful season for Andrew Luck?
I think if he completes a high percentage of his passes, he has more touchdowns than interceptions. I think they'll win more games here than they won with Peyton in his rookie year. I think those are all modest barometers for success. I told my wife, I said, just get through the season and don't get him killed, because I don't want to see him get hurt, because he's that good. I said on TV a couple months ago, 6-10 was realistic. 7 wins or 8 wins was probably the ceiling. They might get up to 7 or 8 wins. I think being competitive and around 500, that's a tremendous jump from 2-14 with a franchise that's carrying $40 million in dead cap money from contracts they got rid of, with a lot of guys that are here this year that probably won't be here next year in terms of young guys or players that are just plugged into spots. I mean, they're going to be in a position to spend a lot of money next year, and you might see the rocket ship kind of take off next year, and they could spend some money on more guys.
Let me ask you just a few more questions. On the cornerbacks mainly, Gerard Powers is certainly the starting corner. Who will start on the opposite side of him? I've read Justin King, I've read Gordy may come in, or they might even wait till waivers and put a waiver claim on someone. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question, because they just acquired Josh Gordy, which tells me that they're not sold on the guys they have. And Jim Irsay, the owner, tweeted even today that trade winds are still blowing. So he's trying to tip us off that maybe something's going on. They're a corner light, and they know they are. They know they don't have a guy on the other side that could shut it down or play it the way they want. Cassius Vaughn hasn't done it. Corey Lindsey hasn't done it. They tried to add guys through waivers. DJ Johnson, they traded for him in Philadelphia. He's moved up the ranks. I don't know if he can do it. I mean, yeah, they can be on the field and make tackles after giving up catches, but I mean, it's not ideal. And I don't know. It's a good question. We think they'll shake this roster even more when the final cuts are made on the 31st. Maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 guys added. You just don't know. But I think cornerback, I think they're still trying to address it.
Chuck Pagano, the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, he seems like a very defensive-minded guy with all of his time as a defensive coordinator and defensive line coach and here and there throughout the league. What's your take on him? How do you feel about him going forward with this team?
I think the world is Chuck. We're not supposed to be too opinionated, even though I write a blog at IndyStar.com. I have my license to write what I think and editorialize a little bit, but I've liked him from the first minute he arrived. I liked him before he got here because I talked to his dad out in Colorado, Sam, who was a football coach. I talked to his brother, John, who's a defense coordinator at San Diego. It's a football family, and I even talked to Chuck's wife when he got here to town, when they were there at the press conference, and she said to me, he's born to do this. This is what he's born to do, and he's fiery, he's intense, he's personable, though. He's not this, tough guy who just always, walks around without any sensitivity for the world around him. He's got a sensitive side to him. I think he had 3 daughters. So trust me, if Sam and John didn't culture him to be sensitive, those 3 daughters did. But he's fiery, he's intense, and that's what you need. I think football has to be played with your coach or the guy who's leading you and the face of your franchise really setting an emotional tone. And I know there's other ways to do it, but I grew up in Ohio, and I grew up with intensity, and I grew up with, as Ryan Gregson said when I met him, you have to play this game with passion, fire, heart. Before it was always, let's just do what we do, and that doesn't inspire anybody. And then every time they come out and have a slow start or they play like crap, people are wondering, well, why is that? Well, maybe because, I'm not saying you have to fire them up with a pep talk every time, but you definitely get into somebody's ear and you grill them and you talk tough and you let them know that, hey, I'm doing everything I can to try and get the most football I can out of these guys. And I don't think fans, by the end of this year, I don't think fans will be able to question that Chuck Pagano will do that.
Phil B. Wilson of the Indianapolis Star, thank you very much for the time. You can follow him on Twitter at PWilson24. Thank you very much, Phil B., for another great interview.
Thank you. Cheers.